Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1300 around the world in the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us today. Got a big show planned for you as always. As we're getting set for the college football playoff, it is right around the corner. Then we'll talk about, I think that everybody and their brother is in the camp that, Georgia's the favored team, but unless you're a Georgia fan, are we really in the camp of thinking, most people think, all right, Alabama's going to pull this game out, right? We'll talk today about what Georgia kind of has to do if they want to win this matchup with Alabama. So we'll get into that. And several other little things here today on the rundown as we head towards the weekend. Wanted to make an announcement today about the show. We are going to have with us as we go through the NFL playoffs and the actual the draft and all of that. We're going to have with us starting next Friday and throughout Lavon Kirkland, the former Steelers great. Also, former Clemson great, inside linebacker for the Steelers from 1992 to 2000, two-time All-Pro, two-time Pro Bowler, all-decade team for the 1990s, one of the best linebackers, obviously in the 90s, played with Kevin Steele and all those guys. Just a great player. So he's actually going to be in studio with us, and he'll take your questions live. So we're going to have that coming up next Friday. So looking forward to having Lavon Kirkland join us and talk. We're going to talk about the playoffs. We're also going to talk about the recruiting because he's actually been a coach. He coached linebackers at Florida A&M, and he understands the recruiting process. So we're going to get into that, and we'll talk about the combine. And we'll talk about the draft. Always good stuff with Lavon Kirkland. He will be joining us next weekend throughout the NFL playoff portion of the season, which I know a lot of folks are like, hey, you know what? I don't watch the NFL. And you're lying because the reality is that the ratings say that you do. I don't watch the NFL much during the regular season. I'll be honest about that. I do watch the postseason, though. And I watch the Monday night games. I do that. So there's that. All right. So we are open to the phones today at 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the rundown this afternoon. Jack to have Lavon Kirkland on with us next week. Going to be some good, interesting stuff to actually talk to someone that's played in the playoffs and played with some great players. I want to ask him about practice with Jerome Bettis because I'm sure those two met up a good bit in practice. Talk to him about that a little bit. Colby says he likes watching Monday Night Football with the Manning brothers. Yeah, we'll get into that too. Ask him about who he likes doing commentary, all kind of good stuff. It is different watching the Mannings do their thing. It really is. Blake says he does enjoy watching the close NFL games in the fourth quarter. Billy's mocking me because bowl games don't count. Billy, we have to just shake hands and agree to disagree on that, my friend. I just don't think they mean the same as they do anymore. Sorry, buddy. Sorry about that. Lots of Bulldogs fans checking in today. We appreciate them. I want to take calls from Georgia fans today. And after being the most dominant team in college football during the regular season, I mean, if the championship was what happened between August 29th to November 24th or whatever it was, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, the Bulldogs would be the national champions. They'd have my absolute number one vote. But they got to play in that SEC championship game. And the championship portion of the season, Alabama hit them in the mouth. So I want Georgia fans to be honest. First of all, what does Georgia have to do in your mind to take out Alabama, because Alabama kind of put it on the chin last time. We'll take calls on that. 803-978-1832. Bulldog JC says, there you go with that rat poison. Tell me what I'm saying that's wrong. I mean, do you want me to say Georgia sucked during the regular season? Not going to do that. They handled everyone that they played. Everyone. That defense was absurdly good. Absurdly good. Blake says college people have to watch the coin toss to the final play. The NFL is more casual. Yeah. But you know what, though? I think that if you go up north, you know, they're not really into the college portion of it. You bring folks down and they watch a college football game, and if they go to I'm not saying if you take them to a Vanderbilt game, no disrespect to Vandy fans, I know that you listen, but if you take them to an actual really good football atmosphere down here, it's something that they've never seen before. The only pro team that I think I could say without blushing puts on the kind of pageantry that tailgate, etc., would be what the Buffalo Bills do. I'm just saying, that's close. Maybe Kansas City. Maybe. After that, it's like, okay. It's all corporate and sanitized, and it's not, it's just not really, it's not really football. Anyway, Georgia fans, call up and tell me what you need to do to win over Alabama. And Alabama fans, you're welcome to call too. Are you intimidated by this Georgia team? You didn't really look intimidated in Atlanta. I don't know, maybe going to Indianapolis, maybe having to deal with some snow may hinder Alabama a little bit. I don't know. The walk in the snow from the parking lot to from the bus, I guess the buses are underneath it, so they may not even have to step in that. From the hotel parking lot, to the bus, they may have to deal with some snow. Maybe that'll hammer them down. 803-978-1832. Colby's right. The Bills Mafia ain't a joke. Look, I watched, and I may post this on the blog page later. It's like 2 weeks ago at a Buffalo Bills game. A guy jumped through like a flaming table or something and set himself on fire. I don't think that you should do that. That's not what I'm saying you should do. I'm just saying that they are hardcore up there. Let's leave it at that. Tennille online says, pressure Bryce and use Cook. That's fair. I think that running the football, teams that ran the football effectively have a better chance of beating Alabama, in my opinion. But on that front, did Georgia really get to Bryce in the first game? Not really. Not really. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. We'll check into your calls this afternoon on that. I think that Tennille is correct about that. I think it comes down to this. I think both teams are ultra deep, meaning that it's not going to matter from one side to the other. It's not like teams are going to be wore out unless there's some COVID stuff. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's that. But as far as that goes, I don't think that's going to matter. But I think it's going to be making sure that you kind of get to them a little bit. I use this terminology. When you have a quarterback that can stand back there and can pick you apart, look, I think that the way to get to him is, I'm not necessarily saying dirty plays, but if I'm coaching that defense, we're going to have lots of different exotic blitzes and everything else, make it a little bit tough for him to pick it up and just touch him every play. I'm not saying being dirty, but even after the play is over, just walking up to him, I'm coming next time. I'm coming next time. I'm coming next time. Whatever. Hit him. It's part of the game. Okay? But make it where it's physically in his head that he's going to have to deal with that pass rush. Let's go out to the phones. 803-978-1832. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob, you can go ahead and mark that win down for Alabama on Monday night already.
So Georgia has no chance, right?
No shot.
No shot. Okay. Why would you say that?
Bet every dime I got. Number one, Kirby Smart. Number two, their quarterback. Number three, Nick Saban. Seems not to have a problem with Georgia.
Nick Saban doesn't have a problem with anyone. Let's be fair about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand.
Alabama's got the best quarterback. Alabama's got the best running back.
Yeah,
they're going to win that football game.
You got. We're going to get scores on Monday, but I tell you what, if you're telling me I got to go against Nick Saban, yeah, not very many guys beat Nick Saban.
I mean, I'm saying 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns, easy win.
Easy win. All right. Well,
easy win, 2 touchdowns, and people will be turning off the game in the fourth quarter.
Be watching reruns of the Golden Girls on Hulu.
We will be, be watching something. Won't be watching that football game. They just don't have it. I mean, I just don't see their running backs is what they rely on. That just can do it. I just don't see it.
Well, the good thing is we'll see on Monday night.
We'll see.
Hey, man, I appreciate you listening, man. We'll talk to you on Monday. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
All right. Let's go one more call. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob. How you doing today?
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. Hey, this ain't really. This is just kind of a tip for some of the listeners that might be going up to Indianapolis for the game this weekend or for next week.
Okay.
If you're not going to partake in the festivities there and you're just going to the game, I had heard that if you go to Louisville, Kentucky, it's about an hour and a half away from Indianapolis. Hotels are way cheaper than what they're going for in Indianapolis.
Yeah, well, I'm cool because if I wanted to go, I have a cousin that lives up there. I'll just go stay at his house. But yeah, I mean, not everybody has that option. I do think that they are jacking some prices up there. You're right about that.
Yes, I was just giving that little tip out for everybody that's wanting to go.
You get to go to Louisville, you might see Jim Cornette. Oh, he doesn't leave his house. Never mind. But still, Louisville's all right.
All right, take it easy.
Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, that's what we give you here at the Rundown. You get travel tips. Why not? 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Blake says Saban is good for 12 points because the refs listen to him like he is God. Wow, that is off the top rope. Mizzou sports fan says, go Chiefs. Okay. Rob says, longtime dog fan, I can tell you, I hope I'm wrong, but I think Bama wins. Tennille's taking Georgia. You know, hey, I think that they could be playing the Green Bay Packers, and I think Tennille would be like, yeah, we'll go with the Bulldogs. So there's that. Alan says my ex's family lives in Cordion, Indiana. I could stay there for free. Wait a minute, this is your ex. She may not like you anymore. You could go stay for free though. Okay. What a mess. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. I read today that they're changing they're adding new spots for college football playoff spots. One of them is going to be like Las Vegas in 2025. And I think they got the big new building there. We're going to get to a point where we're kind of pricing folks out of college football altogether. If you think about it, and maybe we talked about this before. Going to a college football game for a family of 4 is a small fortune. What is it, like $80 a ticket? I mean, let's just say a regular season game. I'm not even going to talk about a playoff game. Let's say $80 a ticket. A family of 4, that's $320. You're going to pay probably $60, $70 to park. You've paid basically $400 before you've even walked into the door. Woof. It's getting to a point where college football is it's as expensive as the NFL. It really is. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Vodka Drinker says, get a room comp. Okay. Stay at the casino across the river from Louisville. Good point. Billy's upset with Disney World. I don't know what's going on there. You're welcome to join the show today at 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Jetmec says it costs money to coddle those players. Oh, Jetmec. Bless your heart, sir. Bless your heart. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to call if you want to join us here on the Rundown this afternoon, here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Of course, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. And if you want to tell me why, let's do it from this perspective. If you think the game is going to be close, tell me why you'd swing one way or the other. All right, let's take a call before we go to break. And welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, all right. Just want to comment. I'm just listening to that guy, people make a few comments. What it really to me comes down to, I just think, do Georgia believe they can go out there on the field and compete with Alabama? I just don't think they can. I just don't think the coach has instilled that in them, because he's still searching, trying to find himself. I just don't think they believe that they can win. Let's more talk about going out there playing them. I think when the lineup, it's first touchdown and 2 Alabama score. If Alabama goes up 2 touchdowns, cut the set off and look at something else. Have a good day.
Oh, goodness. Well, there you go with that. Wow. Interesting. I don't even know where to go from there. I do have an interesting NIL story that we'll get to when we come back. This is the Rundown. You're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400. That guy was crazy. What do you want about my shirt? Alan's wanting to know, what is your shirt? My shirt, this is when I won my powerlifting meet. And it's USPA, U.S. Powerlifters Association, I think is what that stands for. It just has a strong man on it. You win those. If you win a competition, you get a shirt and a medal and whatever. The Chad Kelly's a mess. You can't do Chad Kelly. Weights, Billy. I power lift, brother. Deadlift, back squat, and bench press. There you go, Caden. You stole my headline, but you're right. You know who it is. We'll get to that. So I'm cutting my deadlift's right at competition. It was right at 600 pounds, Jetmec. I'm cutting weight, and I'm going to compete at a lower weight for my next competition. So I'm going to be losing some pounds. Brandon with a wrestling question. I don't know, but they're probably gonna let Brock win. Mizzou sports fan says Clemson sucks. Missouri would destroy them. Okay. Yeah, my deadlift's pretty good. I mean, I'm 42, so it's like I was 20 pounds off the state record, so that's pretty strong. Powerlifting sucks though, because you have to get within a certain weight range, and it's just hard. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to call if you want to join us here on the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. I tell you what, we've got it's a big story. Caleb Williams, the young man that is in the transfer portal, basically took over for Spencer Rattler. Has an offer from former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Charlie Batch, who went to social media to tell Williams that Above Game Capital is offering him $1 million to transfer to his alma mater, Michigan or Eastern Michigan. The tweet says, "Hey, at Caleb CSW, have you considered Eastern Michigan? If not, you should. Game Above Capital is prepared to pay you $1 million for 1 year. Are you ready to be an Eagle?" Williams signed with Oklahoma because he wanted to play for Lincoln Riley, but now that Riley is gone, Williams is going to look somewhere else. The former OU quarterback played 11 games, threw for 1,900 yards, 21 touchdowns, 442 yards on the ground, and 6 touchdowns on the ground. So basically, the way that it works, if you have a famous alumni quarterback, like, or famous alumni player, let's say Jadeveon Clowney's tired of, defensive line issues at South Carolina. I'm just making up a scenario here. Let's say Clowney goes, "Man, we're going to give you $1 million if you decide to come to South Carolina." That's where you're at now. So there's that. What a mess. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Blake says it's legal, and it is. It is, man. I know it sounds like it's the free agency thing. I just think that there has to be a moment where we step back and, wow, the best stat of the day. It was the best stat yesterday. It'll be the best stat till somebody changes it or gets my ADD butt to find something else. What is it? Hurts for Philadelphia. It's making $800,000. Bryce Young for Alabama is making $1.3 million. We're off kilter a little bit. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to dial if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown. We're still taking calls from folks about Monday's national championship game. For Georgia to win, what do they got to do? What do they got to do? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that. A couple of other notes. This one interested me last night. The USFL is coming back. Yes, remember the Tampa Bay Bandits and all that? They've got themselves some coaches. They announced the first 4. Kevin Sumlin, the former Texas A&M coach, is going to be a coach in the USFL, along with Gene Chizik. Chizik has been hired to lead the USFL Birmingham team. Sumlin is going to coach the Houston franchise. So there's that. Todd Haley, former offensive coordinator, is going to coach Tampa, and Bart Andrews, who is a guy that was in the CFL for a while, I remember, is going to coach New Orleans. So, yeah, Brandon online is right. Steve Spurrier was a head coach in the USFL. Donald Trump owned a team, all of that. Yeah, so we've got the USFL coming up. They're supposed to start in mid-April. We're going to talk more about that. This is the interesting thing, though. If you watch a USFL game, apparently from what I read from the press release, now this is directly from the USFL, they had each roster is going to have 38 players. So wrap your head around that for a second. You've got 11 on offense, 11 on defense. You got 16 reserves. You're going to have one guy that's going to have to be your kicker. I guess your kicker is also going to have to be your punter. Yeah, this is going to be fun to watch simply because you're going to have guys out there trying to make plays that probably have no business playing the position they're playing. So there's that. I think that's going to be interesting. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Never thought Kevin Sumlin would get another job, but hey, he got one. So did Gene Chizik. Dump, da, da, dump. Yeah. 803-978-1832. The XFL, of course, Brandon's right, is coming back. Eventually, the new owner is The Rock. Yes. Billy says the punter has to be the long snapper, too. Very good, sir. Very good, sir. You know what? I bet I could be a USFL kicker. I bet I could kick a 25-yard field goal right now. Line me up, I could probably do it. That might get me a job. I might die. I'd be the slowest kicker in the history of the USFL. Anyway, so there's that. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown. Are you going to watch the USFL? 803-978-1832. That is the number to dial if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown. We're going to talk about some celebrities and other people are getting their picks in. Talk about that and a lot more when we come back. Don't forget, Clemson Sports Talk follows me this afternoon. Be sure to check out Lawton Swan's program. It's at Clemson Sports. Yeah, he does a great show. You can listen to him every day, 4 to 6, here on Fox Sports Radio 1400, and, of course, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My podcast will be up at 5 o'clock today. Be sure to check that out. If you missed a show this week, that's fine. Put your earbuds in. You can listen over the weekend. You can also interact with the show on Twitter. I'm at Rob Sounds Good. There are some silly people on Twitter. Absolutely silly people on Twitter. Blake says, I always say I'm going to watch the USFL or XFL, but I never do. I think it's because of just when it is. People are out and about in the spring, and I always find myself, and I know this sounds silly, but I'm always watching college baseball. So, yeah, watching college baseball, that's what I'm doing. I'll watch some games, though. I'll watch some of the USFL, I guess. I guess I'll have to pick a team. We'll have to see about that. All right, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. This is The Rundown. You're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400. Jackpot is working. I do follow some of the strongman stuff if I have time. Some of the stuff those guys do is crazy. The whole refrigerator carry, you're just begging to get your foot broken. But yeah, I've done the Atlas stones where you pick up the stones and put them on the thing. The problem is that I'm so short. The last one is just absurd. It's the heaviest one. You got to put it up the highest, and I'm just too short. So that's a good point. With the USFL team that's closest to you, yeah. Missouri has fans. Calm down. Most Mizzou fans are good folks. you want to chap a Kentucky fan, just let them know that Mizzou's been to the conference championship game twice. They've only been in the league since, 2012? Kentucky's never been. You don't like that. That's great. Tell us about how you went to the SEC. Oh, you didn't. Really? Okay, then. Well, we went twice. I've met some Vanderbilt fans, but I know some Mizzou fans. They're all right. They're good folks. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. I looked it up during the break. Here are your USFL teams. So pick your favorite team from these names. The Michigan Panthers. That's not happening. The New Jersey Generals. Nope. Philadelphia Stars. The Pittsburgh Maulers. That will be the North. The South Division has the Birmingham Stallions. The Birmingham Stallions. Okay. The Houston Gamblers, the New Orleans Breakers, and the Tampa Bay Bandits. Stand by. Out to the phones we go. 803-978-1832. Welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Hello, Rob. It's Bobby and Casey. How are you?
Bobby, which USFL team are you supporting, sir?
None of them. I
Why?
never liked spring football because it's not the best of the best. And I love hockey. Look at all the stuff I send you on Twitter. So what's going on in the springtime?
I know, respectfully, sir, you support Miami, so you really don't know what good football is after 2004. You should support a USFL team.
We got a quarterback that's too small. He looks like a kicker, and he doesn't have arm strength. So there you go. And that goes ditto for the Hurricanes and Dolphins. The real reason why I called today is I don't have a radio on at work. I'm not allowed to where I'm at now. Did you know the Athletic was bought by the New York Times for $550 million?
Yeah, I do. I did know about that.
Did you bring it up? Did you bring it up on the air yet?
No, I haven't. But the interesting part about that is the guy that founded the Athletic said that he was going to take the best talent from local papers and then watch them basically bleed out, and then sold his company to the New York Times. What an idiot.
That's my whole thing there. People like Daniel Shirley, and I'll name them, Josh Kendall, they're well known for people who have Twitter accounts, and I'll throw in McMurphy. All three of them are going to be censored, and what they dig and find with their sources, they're going to be censored. You know, when you look at, and I'm not going to get into a constitutional speech and all that, but censorship is not allowed in this country. There is something called editorializing. So I wasn't able to get on the air and mention it to Teddy, but I saw it on the call on CNBC this morning because he's a state newspaper man at one time in his career. But that's the whole thing. You know, you got to understand there's no such thing as censorship. It's not allowed. We have the First Amendment freedoms. Right. But we editorialize people on television, people in the paper and the print media. Right. So I got to head on home. I've been listening on the way home. I get off at 3:30. So sure. If you wonder where I was, just telling you hello. I'll tell Teddy hello for me too. So
all right, sir.
You have a good. Yep. You take care.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. I think I'm somebody that subscribes to The Athletic. I read Josh Kendall's stuff. Of course, he's covering the Atlanta Falcons now. But you've also got Grace Rayner, who does stuff for The Athletic. She does Clemson stuff. Yeah, The Athletic was kind of the place to go. They have great Braves coverage there and everything else, but I don't know how it's going to work out. Look, here's how things work, though. People will eventually, they're going to read people that they trust. Okay? They're going to follow people that they trust or that they like. It's just kind of the way that it is now. You're not shoehorned into, hey, I have to follow this person simply because they're the only one that covers my team, because that's not the way that it is anymore. So, yeah, there's that. People are going to follow who they trust. They're going to follow people that they believe are going to give their team the best shake or that are the most honest. So that's just the way that it is. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to dial if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Of course, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. You can feel free to call us and respond to what he said. You can also check us out on, of course, the Fox Sports Radio Facebook page. Lots of good stuff there. Would love to interact with you this afternoon. But there's your USFL teams. Alan says, I trust Rob Sanders to lie to me about reality. Okay. Brandon says he likes Lou Bezjak. Lou Bezjak is someone that I enjoy. He does a lot of high school coverage. And there's a list of folks that you can. I don't like people that just give me sunshine and rainbows. Okay, I don't like that. There are people that I follow that that put out good stuff that's not slanted, and then we can go from there. So, yeah, people are eventually going to figure out who they like. They're just going to keep following them. 803-978-1832. Missouri sports fan says, Missouri, Rob, Missouri is they don't have many. Okay. Yeah. Well, and I do think that there's a section of folks that think that you can't be covering sports if you put out there what team that you like. I am of the opinion that if you are honest with everything and you just give out your honest opinion, people are going to cut. They may not like what you say, but they'll respect it. We can't all like the same things. Just saying. That's kind of one of those things that, old school journalists, folks, they won't tell you who their favorite team is because they want you to believe that they are the Walter Cronkite of it, that they don't have they don't lean one way or the other. And that's just not true. Everyone's a fan of something. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing what we're doing here. Seriously. It's frustrating. And to me, they're being deceptive with you. That's not being honest. You like whoever it is that you may be working a different team, but like another team. Just be honest with what you got. You could say, hey, I don't like X, Y, or Z or whatever, but as long as you're consistent with it, then people will stick with you. Bible Belt says he leans toward the right. That's fine. Wasn't really going there. I'm just saying, as far as there are folks that cover South Carolina that are huge South Carolina fans. There are folks that cover South Carolina that may be fans of someone else. But the reality is if they put out the correct information, it shouldn't matter. As long as they're not putting their fandom into it, it shouldn't matter at all. Billy says old school kept their political stuff to themselves. And that is absolutely correct. I don't think that political stuff should be in anything as far as our sports stuff goes, because sports is supposed to be something that can draw us together. If we're fans of, I don't know, South Carolina, Clemson, or whatever, we could sit in the stands together and we could talk about the game. We could talk about our families. We could talk about anything. No one cares about how you vote. That's how it used to be. Just saying, we need more of that. Shouldn't judge people by the way they vote anymore. We used to not know. You'd be like, man, I don't like that guy because he's, he was cheering when X team beat my team by 46 points. Yeah, okay. Just need to calm down with all that. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have some more stuff for you here on the Rundown as we wrap up the week here. 803-978-1832. Billy says golf is the only thing left without the political stuff. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think now you could be judged by how you look walking into a grocery store. Did you wear your mask or not? Seriously. People will look at you like you're silly because of that. It's just we're kind of in a someone mentioned rat poison earlier. We're in a rat hole right now, and it's sad. More of the rundown when we come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Give me 1 second there, gentlemen. Yeah. All right. Final segment of the rundown this afternoon here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Around the world on the iHeartRadio app. Uncle Lou with a good comment there. People don't like hearing opinions that differ from their own. Doesn't matter if it's politics or anything else. People today want to live in a safe space bubble wrap, and it's sad. Normally, Uncle Lou is silly, but that might be the best comment that Uncle Lou has had on the show. We're going to highlight that for a minute. He's right. No one likes to be told, hey, I don't think the same way that you do. No one wants to hear that. Uncle Lou is correct. Isolate that there section, Uncle Lou. You can play that back on your YouTube channel for your 47,000 followers. So congratulations to Uncle Lou on that. But he is right. And he says I'm still extremely silly. We'll give him that. But yeah, people don't like to be told, hey, I don't think the same way that you do. No one likes that. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. We're taking calls on what does Georgia have to do to beat Alabama? Because I think there's a section of Georgia fans that are of the mentality of like, man, I'm a Georgia fan, love my Bulldogs, but I don't know if we can do it or not. I don't really think we can do it. There's all section of Georgia fans that are upset with me for not thinking Kirby Smart's the best coach since, I don't know, Bobby Bowden. Pick your favorite coach here. And they're going to root for Georgia. Unless Georgia loses by 70, they're going to be like, to quote my good friend, Mr. Carolina Jackpot, it was nothing that Alabama did. It was all about what Georgia didn't do. We'll have those folks too. Then you got some folks that are slightly in the middle, and they'll tell you, you know what, if Georgia does this, maybe if they hit Bryce Young a little bit, maybe if Nick Saban has to sweat a little bit, maybe if the defensive line, which is one of the best in the country, can do what the Clemson defensive line did in 2018 and slap Alabama around a little bit. And Alabama's not really used to being slapped around. Maybe that'll be the way that they can unseat them. Maybe if Nick Saban looks like he's going to have like he's going to pass out because he's so angry at the half, like he was in the Clemson game in 2018 when he had the better team, maybe they'll be able to roll from there. Because I hate to break this to the Alabama fans, but if we took all the logos off, all of everything, we just put the teams out there, Georgia's the better team on paper. Wait, what? Yeah, Georgia's the better team on paper. They really are. Now, I know people on the Georgia fan base, they were telling me earlier, oh, I'm coming with the rat poison. I don't think it's rat poison. I think you've got a better roster than Alabama does. The question is, can you get over the mental hump of the guy that's 5'4" on the sidelines that seems to be ruling everything in college football? Can your coach, who I have badmouthed forever, because I don't think he's the greatest ever, can he step over there and say, you know what? I'm tired of your crap. I worked for you a long time ago. And guess what? The train now runs through Athens. You take your butt back to Alabama with this L. That's what's going to happen. The mental part of it is what I think is hindering Georgia. Uncle Lou says, no turnovers, sack Bryce twice, score 30 or more, and score at least twice in the second half. I don't understand the twice in the second half. I think you just keep scoring. Someone needs to tell Stetson Bennett, this is your absolute time to shine. You will never pay for another drink again in your life in the state of Georgia. You win this game. Justin says, Georgia's the better team on paper, so what do you're talking on the field? Exactly. You can be the greatest in the world, but if you don't play up to potential, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Blake says, Stetson will get sacked without being touched. UGA can make adjustments. That's from Cloud 99. Billy Cole says, there it is yet again. Stellar analysis. Thanks. I think he's poking fun at Uncle Lou there. I think that's what's going to happen on Monday night. It's not an issue of talent or not being as good as they are, because they are. They're good. You can make an argument that Alabama's got a better quarterback. After that, it's pretty much par. Out to the phones we go. 803-978-1832. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Oh, yeah, good morning. I'll make this quick because I know you got to wrap it up. Well, what I mean about scoring in the second half, Georgia hasn't scored more than 7 points against Alabama in the second half in any of the last 4 matchups. And we all know we've had leads on Alabama in all 4 of those games. But you got to play the whole game. Winning at halftime don't count for nothing. You got to score in the second half. Have a good morning.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Now, that makes sense. I did not know about the stat that they've only scored 7 points against Alabama. Under that logic, Kirby Smart's a great first half coach. Great first half coach. There you go with that. Maybe you're right. The whole adage of 4 quarters of football. You're a Georgia fan. Aren't you tired of hearing that, though? I've seen, what was it? Wasn't it the Florida game? They pretty much went off there for like a quarter and a half and then coasted. I wonder if Kirby Smart, if he has the opportunity, you think he's just going to drop it and be like, you know what? Bennett's playing, he's 5'10", but today he's playing like he's 6'4". And he goes out there and he plays like he's 6'4". and magically leads the Bulldog offense up and down the field on Alabama. And Bryce Young trips over his toes, and Georgia's up 28-0 at the half. I think you keep blitzing, you keep going at them. I think that's the only way you stomp that dragon out. Blake says Kirby's got to make halftime adjustments. Yeah, well, there are no halftime adjustments. If you're up 28-0, keep rolling. 803-978-1832 if you want to get in before we run out of time today. Here on the rundown, we appreciate it. Also, follow me on Twitter. I'm at Rob Sounds Good. Lots of silliness on Twitter. Got Gamecock basketball this weekend. They're playing at Vanderbilt. They got a weird basketball floor there. Everybody sits underneath the baskets. Strange. Everything has to be different with Vanderbilt, by the way. Jay says Kirby needs to stop being conservative after halftime with the lead. Missouri sports fan asks if I'm on Instagram. I'm on Instagram at Rob Sounds Good. Go and find me there. Billy says UGA has had over 30 days to adjust. That's a good point, too. I think that coaching area goes to Nick Saban until somebody beats him there. I think Nick Saban's got the advantage at quarterback, but I think Georgia's pretty much got the advantage just about everywhere else. Anderson for Alabama, he's really good. It's going to be a great game. Really, really great game. Looking forward to checking that out. Just from the football perspective of, I don't really care who wins. It's still going to be fun to watch. All right, don't forget, blog pages up throughout the weekend. I always have something interesting that comes up on the blog page. I end up blogging about generally early Saturday mornings. I'm always up early, coffee, and I'm like, we'll pull the old laptop out and blog a little bit. Be sure to check that out. Also, on Twitter, as I said, at Rob Sounds Good. Lots of people getting silly with me on Twitter, which is funny. People think that I get my feelings hurt on Twitter. I don't care. As long as you don't run your mouth about my kids, I don't say whatever you want. Not going to hurt my feelings. Podcast is up at 5:00 this afternoon. We appreciate that. You can check that out throughout the weekend. Just go and subscribe. However you get your favorite podcast, look for The Rundown with Rob. All right. Thank you guys for joining us this week. We'll be back at it on Monday. Score predictions for the national championship game. We'll have those on Monday and kind of more of a breakdown. Get some X's and O's talk on Monday here on The Rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Hey, you guys are awesome over there in the chat room, man. You guys make the show better. I appreciate all of you. Alan, what are you talking about? I owe you $20. Why do I owe you $20? If I bet you $20 and I owe you $20, I think you're friends with me on Twitter. Message me and remind me, and I will Venmo you immediately. I pay my debts. I don't remember betting you, but if I did, let me know. The rest of you guys, appreciate y'all. We'll see you Sunday night. Myself and Jackpot will be doing the Rob and Kale show on Sunday. All right, talk to you guys.